welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Katie and today I'm going to be sharing with you some winter DIYs. So these DIYs are going to be perfect for after Christmas decorating. Most of the items in these DIYs can be purchased at Dollar Tree, so they're really inexpensive and I'm super excited to share them with you guys. So thank you all so much for watching and let's go ahead and get right into this video. For this first DIY, you're going to need one sign from Dollar Tree, and this one is one from Halloween, obviously, but it doesn't matter what season you use your sign from. And I thought I wanted my sign to say joy at first, but I changed my mind, and I'm just painting over it now using some white chalk paint. I did go over this twice just to make sure that it was nice and dark and had a nice even coat. After the paint had dried, then I traced the letters snow onto the back of the sign, and then my husband used a jigsaw to cut out these letters. After the letters were cut out, then I flipped them over and I applied some hot glue to the back and also some jute rope in the form of a loop so that I could hang these from my tree. After the hot glue had dried, then I hung them on my tree and that was it. It was super easy and I feel like it's a nice touch for after Christmas decorating. For this next DIY, I picked up a couple of these Christmas signs, and the first thing that I did with these was remove the top part where it said Merry Christmas, and then I used some black acrylic paint to paint over the top part of this sign. There is a little bit of glitter from the stars that are at the top, and the stars themselves are raised just a little bit, but it isn't a big deal. You can just paint over those and I'll show you why at the end. I think it turns out really cool, and I didn't try to scrape those off before painting. I wasn't too concerned about not getting any paint at the top of this sign, the brown parts sticking out, because I will be covering those up later on in this DIY. After the paint had dried, then I flipped the sign over and I put some hot glue down, and then I wrapped the jute rope around the top part of the sign, and for some reason it does take quite a lot of hot glue to get this rope to stick, so I definitely would recommend putting the glue onto the back part of the sign instead of the front. I tried to use as little as I could because I didn't want a lot showing, but the rope doesn't like to stick. If you do encounter that, it does help to go slowly when you wrap and just hold the rope at different parts during wrapping to make sure that it does not unravel. After I had applied the jute rope to all four of the top segments of the sign, then I used some glue to attach these together. And I tried to make sure that I had a little bit of extra rope on each one so that I could conceal the hot glue. And I would recommend just holding these together until they're dry. Whenever I'm using hot glue, I really do prefer the Gorilla Glue. I think that it works amazingly well. It is a little bit more expensive, but in my opinion, it's worth it. To further secure my sign, I hot glued a couple of these wooden dowels that you can get at Dollar Tree onto either side, and I feel like this definitely added to the look of the easel type of sign. Since this is a two-sided sign, I decided to do something different on both sides. So on one side, I just used chalk to write hot cocoa served daily. I'm honestly not the best artist, and my handwriting is like okay, but if you are a really good artist, I feel like this would be an awesome option and you could change it up for the different seasons. It does wipe off really easily with just a cloth that is damp, because I messed up a couple times and I had to try it and it was really easy, just like a real chalkboard. And on the other side, I applied some vinyl that I designed using my Cricut, and I feel like this looks a lot more professional, but if you don't have a Cricut, obviously the chalk works really well, and if you are interested in purchasing some vinyl, I am going to have this vinyl for sale in my Etsy shop, and I will link that down below for you guys. For this next DIY, I used one of these wire baskets from Dollar Tree, and then I printed off this little Snowball label, and I designed this using PicMonkey, but I'm sure you could use any other type of app just to design a little label. And then I printed this off, and then I used some jute rope to tie this onto the wire basket, and I did poke a couple holes right into this paper and threaded the jute rope through it, and like I said, just attached it onto the wire basket. Next, I created some fake snowballs to go inside of this basket. And to do this, I made some handmade Play-Doh. I will put the recipe for this down below. It is an amazing recipe for Play-Doh. However, after I did this, I realized I should have just made some salt dough instead, so I'll also include a recipe for that. And anyway, if you do want to just do the Play-Doh method, then I will give you a brief rundown of what you will be needing. So the Play-Doh consists of flour, salt, cream of tartar, warm water, and that's all. After you have added all of the ingredients, then you bring this mixture to a boil over medium heat and just kind of wait for the dough to form into a ball. After that, then just remove it off of the heat and put it into a plastic bag. And this part is perfect if you have kids because you can let them play with it for a little bit and then you can go ahead and use it for your craft. So after it had cooled off and I had let my kids play with the dough, then I formed this into balls, and then I used this spray faux snow to apply it onto the dough, and I let this dry. It does take a long time to dry, usually overnight, so I had to do this in a couple of different days so that I could do the top part and the bottom part of the snowball. And after that had dried, then I put that into my basket, and I feel like it is the perfect addition to this little display for my porch. The next thing I wanted to make was a little throw for my porch. So I picked up 3 of these plaid scarves and then I laid them out on my table, and they don't match up completely perfectly, but I just did the best that I could, and then I used my hot glue to adhere these together, and I tried to get them as close as possible so there wasn't a lot of extra. Obviously, I'm not really going to be using this as a blanket. I just want it to be an accent piece and complement all of the other DIYs. Also, I'm going to be leaving this outside, so I wasn't too concerned if it wasn't the perfect blanket, if you will. So this did take a little bit of time, and I made sure to go slowly and press down as I was applying the hot glue so that there weren't any gaps. And that is going to be all for the video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoy, and I will talk to you all in my next one. Bye guys, have an amazing day.